Hi, this is Jay from paulpolito.com, and welcome to the next installment in our Linux screencast series about GNU and Unix commands. 103.1 Work in the Command Line, Part 2. In this screencast, we'll talk about the dot, which is an important character in the Linux command line. Further on, we will look at how to invoke commands inside and outside the defined path, what the path variable is, and how to use the tab key for command completion, and finally, introduce some bash control operators. A lot to do, so let's get started. Navigation with dots. The dot is an important character in the Linux command line and represents the current directory. The dot is mostly used in combination with executable commands. Here's an example. In my home directory, I created the script date.sh, which is simply executing the date command. Even if you are in this directory and the executable rights are set, it is not possible to execute the command directly. From the local directory, we can execute the command by typing dot/date.sh. The dot, as you already know, indicates the current directory, and the / specifies files in that directory. There are also double dots in the Linux command line. A double dot specifies the next higher level directory. Here is an example. As you see, we changed from the /home Paul directory to the /home directory, which is exactly one level higher. The path variable. Path is an environment variable on Unix-like operating systems, specifying a set of directories where executable programs are located. In general, each executing process or user session has its own path setting. The path variable is specified as a list of one or more directory names, separated by colon characters. Let's have a look at our path variables. As you already know, we can use the echo command for this purpose. The /bin, /user bin, and /user local bin directories are typically included in most users' path setting because they are the places where most of the executables are located. When a command name is specified by the user or an exec call is made from a program, the system searches the path variable's value, examining each directory from left to right in the list, looking for a file name that matches the command name. Once found, the program is executed as a child process of the command shell or program that issued the command. Don't worry, we will discuss all process-relevant stuff in later tutorials. To execute programs, you have to know the difference between relative path and absolute path. A relative path is a directory defined relative to the current directory. For example, I'm switching to my home directory. Now I switch to the desktop directory by typing cd desktop. I am now inside the desktop directory. Let's move to the /etc directory now by typing cd/etc. And now let's go back to the desktop by typing cd desktop again. This command does not work because we are outside of the /home Paul directory. If we want to make this work, we have to give the absolute path and not the relative path to the command. The absolute path is based on the top level root directory. So if we'd like to switch to the desktop directory again, we'd have to enter the absolute path to the cd command. Type cd/home Paul desktop. And there we are again. Command completion with tab. An important feature on the command line is command completion with the tab key. It's a shell characteristic that either fills in or provides options for partially typed in commands. Here is a short example. I'm in my home directory now. Inside that directory, the desktop directory is located. Let's see if we can use the tab key to help us switch faster to the desktop directory. type CD, D, and be careful, this has to be an uppercase D. And then press the Tab key twice. The command completion has automatically completed the directory name desktop for me. Great, isn't it? This completion also works with paths and commands. Look at the next example where I'd like to switch to the directory /etc java security security.d by using command completion. Bash shell control operators. Bash has several control operators which help to make the daily job for the system administrator much easier. The most common operators are the less than sign, the greater than sign, 1 bar, 2 bars, the ampersand, 2 ampersands, the semicolon, 2 semicolons, a left parenthesis, and the right parenthesis. Note that if you want to include one of these characters as part of your text, it must either be quoted or escaped using a backslash to avoid that the bash is misinterpreting this character. Some of these control operators allow you to create sequences or lists of various commands. A simple command sequence, for example, is just 2 or 3 commands separated by a semicolon, where each command is executed in sequence. If you separate 2 commands with the control operator ampersand ampersand, then the second is executed if and only if the first command was executed successfully. If you separate the commands with 2 bar characters, then the second one is executed only if the first one was not successfully executed. Summary. The dot is an important character in the Linux command line and represents the current directory. The dot is mostly used in combination with executable commands. Path is an environment variable on Unix-like operating systems, specifying a set of directories where executable programs are located. The /bin, /user bin, and /user local bin directories are typically included in most users' path setting because they are the places where most of the executables are located. A relative path is a directory defined relative to the current directory. The absolute path is based on the top-level root directory. The tab key is a shell characteristic that either fills in or provides options for partially typed-in commands. Bash has several control operators. The most common operators are the less than symbol, the greater than symbol, 1 bar character, 2 bar characters, the ampersand, 2 ampersands, the semicolon, 2 semicolons, a left parenthesis, and the right parenthesis. Study points. Navigate inside your Linux system by using dots. Run the echo $path command and study the output. Study the echo command and search for further examples of how to use this command. Run commands by using relative and absolute paths. Experiment with tab completion. Find out some more details about the bash control operators and use the operators mentioned in this screencast until you feel familiar with them. This is Jay from paulpolito.com, and thanks for watching this screencast about GNU and Unix commands. Until next time.